The PlayStation 5 might have very few exclusives, but they're all pretty much great. Ghostwire Tokyo, aka 2022's Game of the Year, Astro's Playroom. Deathloop was alright, I guess. I wasn't that big of a fan. I liked Arkane's earlier work on Prey much more. But there's one game that's always kind of been ignored for some reason, which is odd when you consider that it was announced at the same time as the console, and that's Destruction AllStars. And honestly, as someone who's begun to gain a bit of affinity for weird car combat games, I just couldn't pass this up in my right mind. It was developed by Lucid Games, who don't really have any sort of notable track record beyond co-development on Goat Simulator or porting GTA Liberty Stories, so it's nice to see Sony give a chance to an up-and-coming developer to make their new exclusive. And to be fair, to put all my cards on the fucking table, they did an amazing job. The entire focus in the game is picking one of the many characters available and competing against each other in an arena where you just kind of kill each other, and it plays fantastic. I did initially play the base game without any of the patches because that download size was 36 fucking gigabytes, and I will say that the launch game felt a bit stiff and definitely rough. However, after installing all the updates, the gameplay feels very fast-paced while also never not becoming too chaotic. Obviously, you're going to spend most of your time driving and ramming into opponents, but you're also going to spend some time on foot, collecting shards to fill your abilities, take control of enemy vehicles, and barge into other characters on foot. It all feels really fun and polished, which isn't what you'd really expect from a $20 game like this. Also, the art style is amazing. The characters have a lot of personality, which is displayed really well in the rival cutscenes. Some of them even manage to get a chuckle out of me, which, to be fair, is very easy to do. Although they don't get to say really much, the large cast all feel like they have something that sets them apart from the rest. Twinkle Riot is probably my favorite, and it's not because she's so fucking caked up. There is so much Rule 34 for a game that literally nobody talks about.
It's a sick world we're living in, sick people!
There were some obvious corners that were cut, like the game only having 3 stages that are constantly recycled. However, there's lots of different game types for each character's story modes. There's obviously lots of Demolition Derby in there, there's also a Crazy Taxi mode, and there's even some cell damage in there, just without the jumps. It feels... Fuck. See, this is exactly why something like cell damage can't exist today. Capitalism. Yeah, going into this game blind led to some surprises, to say the least. The first one was the 2 different currencies, which is a bit of a dead giveaway if you've ever played any game that wants to be a live service. The purple coins are purchased with real money and can be spent on cosmetics in replacement of the standard in-game currency. However, you can only earn said in-game currency by playing multiplayer matches with strangers. We don't do that here. To some of you, this isn't really a surprise, since this is how lots of AAA games have operated for a little while. The difference is the sheer bullshit lengths that this game will go to, like locking story modes behind paywalls. When you buy the game new, you only get the same 4 free story modes, while the rest have to be bought with the purple currency, and each of these character stories are locked behind a paywall of $4 each. Mind you, all of these stories have the exact same missions in the same 3 maps, and yet that's worth paying $36 fucking dollars. And God forbid you buy this game used. Why does my voice keep cracking? I can't believe I'm saying this, but to be fair, the game was originally going to be that next-gen price of $70, but was lowered to $20 on top of being a free PlayStation Plus game after being delayed. So props to Lucid and PlayStation for doing that. Not to mention that you can earn those coins through playing multiplayer modes. But 1, PlayStation Plus still costs money, and 2, why would I play online multiplayer with strangers if I obviously came here for the offline campaign mode? This reminds me so much of Back 4 Blood at launch, but even Turtle Rock eventually got their shit together. There's only 4 modes in the arcade, which is odd considering that there's more in multiplayer and the single player story. Modes like Skirmish or Passenger that are already included in character stories are completely absent from the arcade, meant to further entice you to play multiplayer. If this all sounds like a riddle that you can't fucking answer, that's kind of the point. To make matters even worse, from what I've seen online, matchmaking is a problem since this is a PS5 exclusive. And to add a cherry on top of this shit show, besides a few outliers, the cosmetics you can unlock either through story modes or by buying them with real money, by the way, are simply palette swaps. Even games like Avengers needed a year or so to make better costumes, which I can kind of get, I guess. But this was released in February of 2021. It's been almost 2 years. As of yet, support hasn't ended per se, but it also isn't too active. So as of now, and possibly for the foreseeable future until the servers are shut down, there's only like 5 good cosmetic skins. And it was at this point that my joy turned into sad disappointment. Not only does it take forever to connect to the server, but Sony's big multiplayer card game has so few players that they need bots. They just do not have a good track record with games subtitled AllStars. In my reviews, I love to look at the bright side. Not exactly sugarcoating things, but more so trying to see the silver lining. Because even in bad games, there's often an inkling of creativity or a twinkle of an interesting idea that can be improved upon. Destruction All-Stars is probably the most frustrated game I've talked about in a while because I like it so much. The game itself is great. It's just everything else. The copy-paste story modes, the lack of content, the forced online multiplayer with no offline alternative, and of course the extreme microtransactions for single-player content. All of this shit wrapped together makes this experience an extremely depressing one. I wrote this video in December. Fucking December, before Christmas. And when I was done writing the video, I was so just drained that I threw the game in the closet and acted like it never fucking existed. All-Stars goes for as little as $9 nowadays brand new, which is probably meant for new PS5 owners like me to take the plunge. And while it worked, this isn't the killer live service game that Sony wanted it to be, nor is it the fun, replayable vehicular combat game that I wanted. And I'm pretty sure both Lucid and Sony know that. The player base has slowly been bleeding out, and nothing's been posted on the official Twitter since October, leaving lots of fans and nosy bystanders wondering when official support will eventually end. Unfortunately, Destruction All-Stars is a game that a lot of people can easily skip. I don't know, man, go play Cell Damage or Twisted Metal if you're boring. I'm obviously kidding. Hopefully the PS5 will get other smaller scale exclusives like this, ones that take that sheer creativity and put it into a better, more cohesive game without begging for all of my money. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed that video. I really did write this in December and fucking shelved it because I was just so mad at this game. I'm writing a video on Hi-Fi Rush, still working on the PS3 video, Final Fantasy X. Oh man, this plate will never stop being full. Anyways, don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that jazz. I'll catch you guys next time. Later, kids. Have a good night.